Hello! Welcome and/or welcome back. I'm AJ Fug0th, and welcome to one of my
million totally normal, not insane cosplays at all. Totally normal.
I think at this point it's considered an addiction. On to the video.
Back in January of 2024, I made a deal with my good buddy Rack Cafe, aka Milo. We arranged an art trade where, in return for making him a cosplay of his choice, he'd make me 2 designs I could build for myself. So, I eagerly took him up on it. I ended up making him a spring-themed Naven outfit he designed for himself. He made me 2 designs, a Jewel Beetle-themed Naven design, and a fan design for the main villain of Epithet Erased, the boss of Bliss Ocean. Both of us have seen Anime Campaign, so we do know the boss's identity, but I thought it'd be fun to have a spoiler-free design. The first step I took when making this outfit is patterning everything out. I lay tape wherever I want major landmarks of the outfit to be, such as the end of pieces, seams, and hemlines. I then take some medical paper and put it over the taped lines so I can trace them over. I use some tailor's chalk to transfer my tape lines onto the paper. I find it's a nice, quick, and easy way to transfer tape lines. Once the paper is off the dress form, I go over everything with a curved ruler to fix up my edges and then cut out my first draft. After making a few more drafts, I transfer everything over to the final fabric and cut it out. I did this for both the shirt and the pants, though I only show the shirt here. With everything cut out, it's sewing machine time. I bring everything to my sewing machine and get to work. I really love sewing. Watching everything come together is so satisfying. With the majority of the shirt constructed, I add details like buttonholes, which I make using a tight zigzag stitch. Next up are the massive tail skirt pieces. I pattern them the same way I did with the shirt. Since they go off the dress form, I use paper to measure. With the size perfected, I cut it out . The skirt for this outfit is going to be comprised of many layers. I decided to start out with the outermost shell. For the shell, I started out with a white silk rayon blend velvet. It's no secret that I love learning new skills and techniques. I wanted to make the skirt, as well as a few other details on this cosplay, really shine and look unique. I took inspiration from French goldwork and Indian Ari embroidery, and decided to make a colorful and shiny design using coiled bits of copper and aluminum. The first step to achieve this was putting down borders. I ordered some bullion wire used for goldwork and very slowly started couching it down. With the outline ready to go, I got some red, pink, and a few other fun colors of different styles of bullion called chip and cut it up into tiny pieces to start stitching down individually. While insanely time-consuming, I think it has a unique look that can't really be emulated any other way. Once the embroidery is done, I take the layer of organza I built it on and do a tight zigzag stitch to attach it to the other layer of lining, a black holographic fabric. I wanted the layers to be separated because coated fabrics like the holographic feel awful to work on. They're hard to pierce and any puncture marks on them don't disappear. I debated between a few different ways I could do the yellow trim on the skirt. I ended up getting my hands on this lace from a sewing scrap room, and I thought it would be perfect. Since it was a cotton fiber, I used a reactive dye in the shade of yellow that I wanted. Same as with the black dye, I get some hot water going and make sure the dye is well mixed before submerging the lace. All that's left to do is applique stitch it down onto the skirt. I used all the same materials and techniques as I did with the skirt. I started figuring where I wanted all the boundaries and borders of the silver bullion to lay. Once it's done, I couch it down. I wanted this whole outfit to have a stained glass motif, So, within the heart, I couched down some black coils to act as the lead of and then filled everything else in with colorful chips. Next up on the list is the giant heart on the chest. I like using an embroidery stand like this one as it makes sure I'm not looking down for many hours embroidery takes. Like with the skirt lining, I also wanted the chest heart to be done in gold work. I start off by tracing my shapes onto wool felt and creating a 3D base to work on top of. I do a basic running stitch to tack my wool down to some organza held in an embroidery hoop, just to keep things from sliding around. Once my base is good to go, it's time to slowly add the gold-colored aluminum coils on top. I stitch each one down individually. Approximately every 5 yellow coils, I put down one darker one, just to add some visual interest. After completing one side, I move over to the next. In case it's not obvious, both embroidery for the heart and the skirt took months. I didn't want the center of the heart to just go blank, so I continued with the motif I used for my other Bliss Ocean cosplays. I ice-dyed some fabric for both the heart and the sides of the pants. Once it's ready, I trace all the edges from the heart onto the ice-dyed fabric. And of course, add some embroidery onto the background. Can't have anything going too plain. I use some fun sparkly fishing lure ties and French knots to give it a fun textured look. I tried to arrange the sections to try to be as reminiscent of stained glass windows as possible, brightly colored and the shine to emulate the look of light coming through. I love learning new crafts. While scrolling through Instagram, I saw a bunch of videos on a style of accessory making called Ronghua. Seeing as I already have so much silk embroidery floss and dye, I decided, why not give it a try? Since the outfit is covered in peafowl feathers, I decided instead of using genuine ones, it would be fun to just make my own. I'm aware peacocks shed their tail once a year, and I do have access to peafowl, but I wanted to learn a new craft. Once the silk is dyed, I rinse all of the loose dye out. I made myself a shoddy little frame to hold the silk. I organize all the silk and then wrap it around a stick. I cut all the tangles so the silk was as smooth as possible. I wrap a piece of 32 gauge wire around it and get to twisting. The goal of Ronghua is essentially to make a pipe cleaner out of silk, and then cut it and combine it to make shapes. I made these little wraps in a variety of colors to make each section of the feather. Once a section is cut, there's even more wrapping to do to really keep everything in shape and keep it fluffy and secure. Next, I cut all the fuzz down to the desired width. Once the final cuts are done, I bend it into shape. With everything made, it's time to put the pieces together and make the feathers. Besides the heart, there's one other place that needs feathers: the mask. I get my heat gun working and heat up some scrap warbler, which is a type of thermoplastic. For anyone who doesn't know, thermoplastics are, as the name implies, plastics that become malleable when they're heated. Warbler is popular among cosplayers because it's able to heat really nicely, hold its shape super well, and won't kill you when it gets hot. I get it just warm enough that it's malleable, but not so hot that it's uncomfortable, and slowly and carefully mold it to my face. Once it's nicely shaped, I cut it out and save the scraps for another project. Since there's gold detailings on the mask, I decided to add gold work there as well. So out comes our wool, and the chalk to make the shapes. I wanted the masks to have matching textures to the rest of the cosplay, so I used scraps from both the white velvet from the skirt and the black holographic lining. I hot glue everything down and try to hold tension as I go. I also check out the feathers and secure them down just to make sure the felt will sit well. Same as with the heart, I attached down the gold coils. For the heart, I decided to only embroider the edges, just so it popped a little more. Next up, the final and most time-consuming piece of embroidery, the sleeves. I spoke with Milo and this was the exact organza he thought of when designing this outfit, so I got it and started embroidering. I wanted the sleeves to have a giant tree with stained glass between the branches as it's designed. I got a giant pack of different colors of cotton embroidery floss to make the stained glass sections. I wanted them to be wildly colorful and really pop. But before I work, I have to get all the embroidery floss ready to work with. As well as using black, I also use a dark navy blue so there's a bit more dimension to the tree. Materials ready to go, it's color time! Like with the heart, I decided to make the colorful sections in French knots. They're definitely faster stitches, but I just love the look and texture. As well, it ties this outfit into my Yumta outfit with all of the French knots on her collar perfectly. Just in case anyone's wondering how long this took me, each sleeve took approximately 40 hours of work. I try to keep a good log of how long everything takes. This log doesn't include breaks or redos. I did deviate from the original plan of stained glass and went with more of a rainbow look, which I was having a lot more fun with anyway. Once I felt like the sleeves were done, I unhooped them. I didn't want the bottom to stay plain, so I saved some of the lace from before I dyed it yellow and stitched that to the bottom of the sleeves. As well, I wanted the sleeves to be fun and texture on both sides, so I folded them over and sewed them. With the sleeves sewn, it's time to pleat the tops so that they'll be small enough to fit under the heart. As well, this adds a nice little bit of puff to them. I attach the feathers onto the sides of the heart using E6000, and then hand stitch the now sewn and pleated sleeves onto the heart as well. I didn't record any footage of it, but I also used lamp working to make some small glass flower beads to adorn the bottoms of the sleeves. I made a few different styles of flower, from bulbs to bead implosions. The part of the cosplay I got the most compliments on when I brought it to con was the wig, so I'm going to give a little bit more detailed explanation on how I made it. I started off by getting a pack of rainbow braiding hair. I personally like working with braiding hair the most because it already comes with the texture of a crimped wig. As mentioned in my Siffrin video, crimped wigs lets them hold style a little better and get a little less tangled, especially if they're long. I section each color out and hang them from my weft rack. I wanted this wig to sparkle, so once the sections are separated, I blend in some hair tinsel. Once the hair tinsel is mixed in, I start adding hair at the base of the wig. I don't want any of the structural elements to be visible, so adding some hair at first ensures that it won't be seen. I really want this wig to be a full, bright rainbow with white sparkle on top and rainbow undersections. Since there's not a ton of each color in this pack and the wig is short, after I glue a section in, I cut the hair closer to the length I want it to be and save the sections I cut for later. When I glue a wig together, I like to take them off the head form occasionally just to make sure it doesn't get too glued on. With the wig assembled, it's time to get everything to the appropriate length. A common misconception I see is that hairspray is what holds the style. The hairdryer should be what's doing the majority of the styling. The hairspray is just to make sure everything sticks a little better. I go through and decide where I want all the fluff and main spikes to be. When I want the ends of spikes to be really sharp, I go through with some feathering scissors and thin the hair out a little. It's also a great way to just get some more shape into the wig. With the basic style figured out, it's time to give the wig its bones. Using some armature wire and packing tape, I make an outline of how I want the wig to look. Once it's made, I can just slide it in and glue it in place. While I probably should have added the structure before gluing down all the hair, it wasn't hard to add in afterwards because of how I structured the wig. I then glue the hair onto both sides of the structure and clean everything up with a hair dryer. You can really see just how much of a difference that structure makes here. With the first side of the basin, it's time to do the same thing on the other side. For all the little rainbow undersections, I use the same method as I used for the base, but instead gluing small sections of each color of the wig hair onto the frame before attaching it onto the wig. Once all the rainbow sections are in, I can easily clean everything up and bend the hair to sit exactly how I want it to.
Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to see more videos like this, make sure to like and subscribe. Although music in this video, as always, is done by Whoops, you can check out her music in the description. I'll hopefully have another cosplay within the next year.